Many people don't understand autism. It's a mystery that baffles most scientists as to how it's caused or if it's curable. My brother and I were diagnosed autistic. Even though I have overcome most of my autism, my brother Benedict is more severe.
Come on. Just gotta give you another treat. You want a treat, girl? Oh, damn it. Oh, shit. Shit. Just move your ass, dog. Shit.
I wanted the opportunity for Catherine, our mother, to retell what it was like to deal with someone like Ben.
Ben seemed to be a bright and lively toddler, seemed to be developing along typical path, but gradually became apparent that he had language difficulties. His behaviour was quite challenging as a toddler, and his elder brother was already identified as having a language disorder on the autistic spectrum. I'm the mother of 3 sons, 2 of whom are diagnosed as having autistic spectrum conditions, and the third definitely recognise that he has some of the similar traits. I come from a nursing background and have sort of intended to go back to my career as my children grew up. When you have any child with any kind of disability, your life does tend to take a different direction. I think for all of us, having children is a life-changing thing to happen. But when you have a disabled child, your perspective has to change, because with Benedict, we're in for the long term. He is probably going to need ongoing support well into his adult life.
Private planes are expensive.
No, because I don't care.
But you don't have to go on planes anymore because you're stuck here. If you went to Ireland by ferry, would you have been better?
Well, go to France by ferry is fine, because I've been there before.
But
To Normandy. Well, Guernsey's part of Normandy.
no, Guernsey's an island.
Ugh, that's just garbage. You don't say Guernsey's an island.
It is an island.
Ugh, Guernsey is in Europe.
It's in Europe, but it's an island in
Oh, you're talking about a load of garbage.
There are many compensations for living on a place like Guernsey. It's a beautiful island. We have the most glorious coastline, high levels of sunshine, good sense of community, lots of cultural activities. We came here on holiday and thought, what a wonderful place to bring up your children, and a year later we moved over and we've been here ever since. Guernsey is one of the Channel Islands. It's a Crown dependency, so has its own government, makes its own laws. It's part of the British Crown, but not governed directly by the UK Parliament. Consequently, all laws on disability discrimination, special educational needs, etc., that exist in the UK are not relevant in Guernsey, and much of the legislation that we do have is considerably out of date. It is slowly being reviewed and updated, but at the moment remains very limited and minimal. So the island has a lot of unique difficulties, and historically has perhaps fallen quite behind in terms of social policy. There is a huge move on the island to address this.
Despite the compensation of sunshine that Guernsey has to offer, it offers little to no support in special needs education. It's something that Catherine has challenged the states of Guernsey over. Henceforth, she's fighting for the right of special needs children, which in the process has led her to becoming a leading member of the National Autistic Society in Guernsey. To Ben, Guernsey is all he knows. It's his home, it's what he's used to, but living in Guernsey has hindered his chance to get a decent education.
Tomorrow then,
Yeah?
we've got a meeting with Mr. Stewart at college.
Oh, to check Where did college start?
College starts on Friday.
Yeah, the 18th.
Yeah. We're going to talk about what you want to do.
Okay. What? Charlie just rips a pair of pants.
There wasn't really any autism specific education provision on Guernsey when he was 5. It would be better on a specialist autism programme, so we elected to educate him at home.
Catherine took Ben's education into her own hands while challenging the states of Guernsey over their poor accommodation for Ben's needs, especially since Ben would start going to Le Murier School in Catherine's efforts to integrate Ben with other students. Despite Ben enjoying his time there, the service still wasn't adequate.
He didn't really make much in the way of academic progress. We had independent assessments done which clearly indicated that Benedict did warrant such a specialist education. We elected to send Benedict to a specialist school and fund him privately. So Benedict spent 2 years at Alderwaisley Hall School in Derbyshire, which is a specialist school for children with language and communication difficulties and autism, where he did very, very well and made some fairly significant progress. Unfortunately, we had to review that placement on logistical reasons because of difficulties we had with the local airline.
Can you tell me what it was like at school in Derbyshire?
Derbyshire? No, I don't want to talk about it.
Alderwaisley?
No, further education.
You went to Alderwaisley to get some decent education.
Fine.
Can you remember what happened on Arini?
Don't know.
Benedict is auditory sensitive, and one of the noises that is particularly distressing to him is the noise of crying baby. It's a sort of fight or flight response. He tends to react. He wants to get away from the noise. He will leave the room. Obviously, on a plane, that isn't possible for him. So the cabin crew were not happy to take him unescorted. We were escorting Benedict to and from school, which was exorbitantly expensive because it meant that every single flight that Benedict did was another round trip for the adult escorting him.
Do you remember what happened with Mum on Arini when she got really ill and you couldn't land?
Because why the wind's blocking the trail? She's that sick. We go to a different hospital at somewhere.
Do you know it was at Gatwick?
Gatwick.
That day, the weather was particularly appalling, really strong winds, one of the worst days in flying history. In fact, there were flights being diverted all over the place. The flight back was very bouncy, really quite uncomfortable. Unfortunately, I do suffer with motion sickness, which I was feeling not very well at all. We had 2 aborted attempts to land the plane, and the pilot in the end abandoned. We would have to divert to Gatwick. And at this point I became very unwell. Benedict was quite distressed and frightened by the rocking and vibrating of the plane. So really quite a stressful experience for him, and he was a little bit vocal on the plane as the flight was coming into land and then taking off. He was, oh my goodness, we're going to crash, and I was trying to calm him down whilst also being very unwell. By the time we got to Gatwick, I was so unwell that I had to be taken off the plane by paramedic and taken by ambulance to A&E. So we were both pretty exhausted and pretty shaken up.
So we just head back the next day.
You headed back to Guernsey the next day.
But the flight passed off uneventfully until we came into land, at which point a baby started to cry.
Hate being surrounded by young children.
Is that why you got scared on the flight?
No, got fed up.
You remember what you said to the baby
No, I didn't say you need babies.
on Arini?
No.
And Benedict swore loudly, rocking backwards and forwards in his seat with his hands clapped over his ears, and he said, "I'll kill that baby if it's not quiet." He remained in his seat throughout the incident. He didn't take his seatbelt off. He was really no threat to anybody. And as far as we were concerned, that was the end of things. We got off the plane. No member of cabin crew spoke to us at all.
And then, do you remember what happened with Dad? You went to East Midlands Airport, and then they said, "No, you can't fly."
Oh, because it's delayed. And this is why I hate this.
It wasn't because it was delayed, it was because they didn't want you on the flight.
Oh, I'm stuck. They won't let me go. They won't let me take me back home. I don't like flying anymore.
Ben flew back and forth between Guernsey and East Midlands no problem, but the incident with the baby didn't sit well with Aurenie. So one day, when Ben was supposed to fly back, they called Catherine to say he won't be allowed to fly with them anymore.
I considered that this was a case of disability discrimination. The airline were maintaining that it was a safety issue. I involved the National Autistic Society head office, the Civil Aviation Authority passenger services people, the local state's deputy, who was the disability champion, and was in negotiation with Aurigny to try and resolve this issue. But Aurigny was heavily stressing how distressing this incident had been for the parent of the child, the implication being that it had been this parent who had complained. It just so happened that the island's disability champion was the husband of the lady who was travelling with the child, and of course she gave a witness statement to say that she had not complained. It was entirely clear to her that Benedict was in some way disabled. So of course, having got this witness statement, Aurigny did back down. Sadly, by the time we got this sorted out, it was too late for Benedict to continue his placement at school. We actually had to review the placement before the beginning of the summer holidays, and we didn't get this situation resolved until August. So we were in the sort of Kafkaesque situation where the states of Guernsey couldn't meet our son's needs, and the state's own airline were preventing us from getting him to a school that could meet his needs.
What do you like about college?
It's fine.
Do you like it because it's in Guernsey?
Yes. So I'm fine staying here.
Why do you like staying in Guernsey?
Because it's just fine. Because this is where I live here.
Is it comfortable here?
Yes.
Ben is now 18. He's just about to start his last year of full-time education. Guernsey does not as yet have any kind of provision to support young people like Benedict in education beyond 19. I'm hoping that he's going to get the opportunity to do a basic level 1 art and design course. He loves drawing and painting. He's very interested in film. Planning for this year at college, as per usual on Guernsey, is last minute, and I'm still waiting for clarity on what exactly he is going to be offered at college this year. So for the future, Benedict is clearly not going to be ready to go into employment next summer. So it's possible we might try to pull together some of these craft activities and set him up with a little home-based enterprise where he can make and sell things. It's going to be a case of building something around his particular needs.
Why don't you play on your computer?
I can't because my YouTube network isn't working. Because I need the booster recharged up in the attic.
Can you get internet on your iPad?
Yes.
But can you not get it on your computer?
The YouTube... No. I'm going to be on a private plane.
Private planes are expensive.
No. Because I don't care.
But you don't have to go on planes anymore because you're stuck here.
Yes, because I got a boat. Dave and I prepared that.
Do you want to tell me another story?
No, that's it. Just...
It's actually very difficult to try and summarise all the issues around Benedict's education and therapy provision, the battles with or Renew the airline, and all the issues together. We're not Guernsey people, but it's our adopted home, and we're unlikely ever to want to move anywhere else. And it really is a delightful place to live.